And then, of course, make sure that it doesn't happen again, right? How did that suddenly happen? After I apply the patch, will my fix stick? When I get the next update, will it wipe out my patch? Not uncommon, so keep that in mind. Do I need new procedures? I mean, are we doing things wrong, every time? So do we need to start working differently? And of course, my favorite one, who can we blame for it rather than ourselves? Okay, I'll let you appreciate this one for just a second. You probably have seen some variant of that on the internet once in a while, how to make sure to deflect the blame more efficiently. Okay, so once you're done, you want to retest everything. By test, I mean make sure everything is working, okay? Just because you fix one thing, it may break something else, not uncommon. And we may have missed something. When we used to teach that class, I would usually try to make 2 breaks in one system just to keep students on their toes. And communicate back, right? You want to tell users, hey, we did our job, we fixed it within the SLA, and also make sure that they're not waiting, endlessly for you to fix a problem when it has been done a long time ago. Okay? Document both the problem and the resolution. Have an internal knowledge base. That's a good thing to have. Okay? Use some wiki software that's very cool for creating an informal internal knowledge base. And it will save you time because you can look it up and, oh yeah, we did that before. Okay? And keep an eye on the system for a few hours because, again, you don't know if your fix could have broken something else. And then finally, relax. Questions, comments, Rotten Tomatoes?
Comments. I mean, I'd like to add to the list of questions to ask. Like, even if it seems like a very obvious question, ask. I have seen, and especially if you're not very much involved, familiar with the system, you come from outside to fix the problem. You measure if that person is coming to me to fix it, they've already tried or at least they noticed. No. Feel free to ask any of these questions.
Yeah, and thank you for that comment. I mentioned the remove the function. I was talking several times about that 19, actually, I think it was 25 data providers. I said 19 and she corrected me. It was 25 data providers in that report. And it was working everywhere except in the Launchpad, and only when they were refreshing interactively. It turns out that the normal usage for the end users was to schedule it and publish it to a portal, and the users would interactively work with the instance, their input controls and whatnot, but they would not refresh the document. And I ended up saying, okay, we can spend the next 2 days trying to fix it so that it does work in the BI Launchpad, or we can just say, I don't care. It works in the rich client where you develop, and the end users are perfectly fine, so let's just ignore the problem. I mean, it's not what I feel good about, but it works from a business perspective, and that's what we ended up doing. So don't be obsessed by fixing a problem. I tend to be obsessed, but you have to learn not to fall for your obsessions. Any other question?
What do you find is where's the threshold for the number of data providers when you start seeing errors?
That is an excellent question. Next question. Really, what's the threshold? It is fairly low. I don't have a number because it depends on other factors. It's the complexity. I mean, how many objects do you have in those different data providers? Are they just side by side, or do you coordinate them? Do you have many merge dimensions? How many merge dimensions do you have? So if you have 25, and it's something I have seen, I don't really know why they do it that way, but you have 25 data providers, each feeding one report with no connections between them, it's going to work just fine. If, like it was the case there, you have a pile. I mean, there were like probably 15, 20 merge dimensions across the majority, and not all, of course, it would be too easy, right? But the majority of those data providers, that is a total disaster because it's a lot of work internally for the system. So threshold, not really. It's experience, you know, and it's when you look at it and you go, oh, that's the threshold. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's more a question of complexity, and you learn to gauge that with experience, but there's no definite number for that.
Any others?
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.